This episode 2024 Ideas for Content. Well, folks, the New Year's is upon us, and we want to put forth our ideas for shows in the New Year's. This is really effectively going to be a poll. We are asking for your help. We want you to write this down. Write this down, folks. Write this down right now. Questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. This is to send us emails because we need your input. Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show, home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Handyman Pros Radio Show, where our goal is to help save you time, money, and aggravation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition is entitled 2024 Ideas for Content. And to help me explain, I have my fabulous co-host and old buddy, John. John, what is going on this week? Please tell me more.
Old Lang Syne, man. 2024.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm still vertical. So, yeah, but that being said, folks, we're sitting here, planning out for 2024, and we like to, do some different things, and so we're kind of asking, your participation in this as well, because if Larry and I get to free up a little time here, that seems to happen, maybe a little bit more often, that we might be able to do a little bit, some other things. We've been pretty busy this past year for a number of reasons, all the way around, whether it's be the handyman business or other things. But if we can slow down a little bit, we'd like to bring you some content that I think that'll add a lot of value.
Yeah, kind of our goals. Before we get started on that, just don't forget to please like and subscribe our pages. It helps get this content out, the content that we do have, out to the other people out there in the world that might be looking for this kind of content. It also helps, people understand what it is that they're doing. It's all that algorithm thing. So anyway, with that, rock and roll. So John, we were in our conversations, we were talking about, and folks, by the way, we are not out of content by any stretch of the imagination. There is always something for us to talk about. I think the goal here for us, as we were talking about it, is that what we really want is, what is it that you want? What is going to bring value to you? We have our goals. Our goal is simple. Our first goal is simple. We need to be entertaining. And if we're not entertaining, please tell us that as well. But if you're not entertained, right, you're not going to pay attention and listen. So along with that, we want our goal is to give you some kind of value add. Why should you listen to this show? What value do we bring? We hope that's through high quality content, but we also have this desire for you to use us as a reference point. We spend a lot of time doing this business, as it were, and we spend a lot of time working on homes and all of the things involved in working on homes. And that's what we're trying to share with you, is just some really good tips, again, to help save you time, money, and aggravation, because gosh, it can be all three of those things. It can be very, very costly and very aggravating and take a lot of time. So that's where we decided, so we need more input, right, John? Is that what we need?
Yeah, let's throw some things out. One of the things, and like I said, we've been busy this past year. Now, what we enjoy doing is we love to interview people. And,
we do.
They're subject matter experts. We do a lot of things, but we're not involved in the deep things of roofing or drywall or of things that are really happening out there that professionals do all the time. So we'd like to bring those people on and things like that. But those kind of things, interviews. That's one of the ideas.
Yeah, we like to call them subject matter experts, right, John? I mean, basically, we'll get, like, say, a professional plumber who can give us more information than what we have.
Exactly.
And so we do think we want to do more interviews, folks. It's interviews are interesting just from a production side. It takes a little bit more planning, which is part of the reason why when we get busy, we don't do them, because it takes a lot of planning. Plus, it's herding cats, as we'd like to say. And not that that's a bad thing. It's just it takes time. And if we're busy in our handyman venture, we don't have time to do the setups and things like that. With that, we were talking about in our conversations, we were talking about that we can break these down into interviews down into a couple of different areas, right? One is a knowledge base kind of basis, and then another might be materials and or tools. So when we say knowledge base, what are we talking about, Johnny? So as far as a
Well,
specialized
you know,
conversation.
I think there's always an interesting discussion, and I know things change from area to area, municipality, but generally there are certain things in building codes that are pretty much static across the whole board.
Yep.
And I think that if you know, folks, if you're really interested in those kind of things, so if you're doing a remodel or you're doing some renovations and things like that, you need to be aware of this, and it's good to know this anyways. You know, how things might have evolved for you know, for instance, over the years, from, you know, different types of plumbing techniques to different types of electrical techniques, why it's taken place, you know, all of those things. And I think to get somebody on that really knows the codes, and now, albeit that they're going to be different, a little bit different in different places, but there's a generality of some of these things. Okay.
There is, yes.
So I think that's one line item that I think would serve us all. And you know, so we want, like Larry said, we'd like to hear back from you on something like that. The next thing that Larry, that you and I have been kicking around was, you know, homeowners insurance.
Yeah, insurance in general, both it can be anything from homeowners insurance to business insurance, both for handyman and or for homeowners. But homeowners insurance itself, at least to me, can befuddle me. It befuddles me because there's too many where-to-fors, and it becomes very legalese. And there's some things I think that I guess the idea, folks, is have you ever actually really talked to an insurance expert to find out what is really covered and what is not covered? It's very confusing, and it can be very, very expensive. And so, I mean, both your premiums, but also we just had a great big storm roll through here in July, and some of these people's homes weren't really covered adequately to take care of the damage that was done to their homes. And it's a situation that you really don't want to be in. So we've talked about it, but we don't want to do it unless you're actually interested. So again, contact us. That's Handyman Pros Radio Show, or questions at handymanprosradioshow.com, because we want to know, you know, are you interested in this kind of thing? Is it something that would bring value to you? Would it help explain some things that maybe you can't? Because honestly, I've been trying to find this person for probably 2 years, and I'm still struggling trying to find exactly the right content producer that's going to give me the answers that I really want.
Yeah, there's I've seen some interviews from guys like this, and it's really what the value is here in one data point is the stories that they'll bring to the table.
Right.
That you might not be aware of, you know.
Right.
Who's at fault when somebody's tree falls across the line? Now, laws can be in different municipalities and things,
right.
But you know, it's things like that, you know. So as a handyman, and you're out there cutting a tree down, you know, what are you liable for?
Well, so even if you're a homeowner, John, you know,
that's what I mean.
Exactly. That the neighbor's tree is covered under his insurance, because it's not necessarily, and I don't know this for sure, but I know that there's variation.
There's a lot of things, and I've talked to some guys about it, and but the stories are interesting, and the court cases are interesting on these things. So, you know. It's just another idea. You know, if you want to, you know, we'll search those folks out. Maybe we even have somebody in the audience that's an
can help us,
person, you know, that can help us out here.
Right.
So then we had another data point here that we put up here is software. You know, if there might be some things that you might be interested in particular that we can search out. You know, and have somebody on. From you know, I mean, I spent 33 years in that business, but it's got nothing to do with the handyman business, right? So just but anyways, et cetera, on kind of the knowledge base.
The knowledge base, yeah, the
So you're
things
gonna
that are
go
in,
there.
we'll call them kind of intangibles, like the things that are not really like, it's not like the next topic, which is tools, right? So
Yeah.
do you want to hear more about tools? And that category is immense. We're not going to dive into specifics on it, but do you want to know more about tools?
Yeah. This is yeah, if you give us some feedback on that, and then maybe particular tools or to particular things that you do where there might be something that this category would address, would really help us to plan out, digging out these, some subject matter experts on it, if you will, and we
Yep.
can, pursue that then and do those kind of things. Because I'll tell you, what interests me may not interest you.
Correct.
And we, Larry and I both do, enjoy doing this show because we learn a lot about a lot of things doing this show, so that we're interested too. But we'd like to put our collective heads together to say, this is going to bring value to the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And be entertaining, because we want to be
Yeah.
entertained by God. One of the other things that we'd sort of popped around was like new building materials. Like, what sort of, there's all kinds, folks, if you don't know this, there's all kinds of specialized materials for particular building applications. Just anything from, I don't know, hinges to trusses to specialized roofing to this to that. There's a million specialized products. Is that something you're interested in knowing more about? Is it something we can get an interview on, or we can at least introduce you to a new product? Because I'll tell you what, every day, it seems like John and I, we read a lot. Like, we read all these trade magazines and things. And so, we come across these things all the time. Sometimes we bring them out to you, sometimes we don't, because a lot of times it's like, is there anybody really, does anybody really care about the 47,000 different kinds of hinges, Johnny? I'm not sure. And I'm not sure, but there are specialized hinges for specialized applications, and we've got a couple of sources that we can contact if you're interested. If you're not interested, that's fine. But that goes for all of the building materials. We make a few announcements on them. Like I always remember this one just because to me, it was quite interesting. There's a company that makes insulated studs because, believe it or not, the studs in your walls actually lose R value. And so for colder climates, they're now making a manufactured highly insulated. I think it's R15. I can't remember. Anyway, we mentioned it in a show briefly, but there's all kinds of these little specialized products that are out there that maybe you're interested in them, maybe you're not, but help us out and let us know. Again, questions at handymanprosradioshow.com, and we'll bring you more, I guess, or less. It just depends. And by the way, if there's less that you want to hear, that's okay too. We're good with that. What was some of the other, was there anything else, Johnny? There was like, we talked about new technologies. Go over some of those things for us.
Well, there's things that, there's all kinds of technologies that are coming out, or different types of techniques or tools, even if we want to go back to that, for plumbing, carpentry, the electrical, etc., that that we can seek out.
Correct.
I mean, these are kind of technologies that you might might not see for another year that hit the market. They might be
Right.
brand new.
Yep.
They might be actually out there that you've never even considered. There might be some technologies that are coming to market. I know that in the electrical side of things, with EV cars and the charging stations and all that. I mean, that's a very fluid thing right now, that they're getting better and better, because it takes so much power away from all the rest of your house, that these things have automatic diverters in them, and you can shut down the rest of your house while you're charging your car,
Yeah.
or whatever. But there's all kinds of things coming out, that personally, I'm kind of the nerd on that. I'd love to know more, but I'm not going to bring it out, and bore anybody with it. But if these
Right.
are the kind of things that you might be interested in, we'll certainly work on that.
Yeah, and then just moving into the next thing, techniques too. Like, are you interested in more actual how-tos? So like how to do drywall or how to paint or how to tile or how to do flooring or how to do anything. Is that something you're more interested in? John and I have done some build videos, but we're working on, we think we want to work on some more. Now I'm going to tell you folks, doing a build video, it sounds easy. It's a little more involved than everybody wants to believe. But that's not neither here nor there. We are more than willing
Yeah.
to put in the effort. It's not that. It's just, if it's going to fall on deaf ears or people aren't interested, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why, right?
This is kind of a little bit of a marketing survey for us as a
Yeah,
target.
this is a marketing survey show going forward. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely.
So, doing it's only Larry and I, so we're the production crew and everything else. So, but I think, Larry and I were talking about if we have some interest in that, and we have a little bit more free time moving forward, then we'll do these build videos and some projects and things like that, like we did with our the pizza oven.
Child's bench. Oh, the pizza oven, the child's bench that we did. We did that as a build project. The pizza oven was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've rehabbed whole houses, and I started shooting video for it, and boy, I'll tell you, it got overwhelming. So it was like, I can't, it's so much that we didn't do it, but we can certainly do small, we can do bite-sized projects. There's no problem. We can do whole rehabs. It's just, I don't know if I've got another one.
There might be something out there that you guys have in mind.
Yes.
Hey, I've always wanted to think, as a homeowner, a DIYer or whatever, I always wanted to learn how to do this. And it's always important to, be able to do these things, to watch somebody else do it before maybe you do it. So you cut down on time and spend and everything else. But anyways, that being said, give us some feedback, in our email would be great.
Yeah, and one other thing that we've been toying around with is doing a live stream, an actual live interactive event on in a live stream format, questions and answers type show. It's something we don't want to get in and do that unless we know there's interest in it. We're not going to expend the effort, because it's a fair amount of effort. And it's not that, it's just, if nobody's going to be there, there's no reason to do it. Now, I've done a few of these shows with some, back in the COVID days, I did a few of these question and answers live streams, more or less. They actually weren't really live streams. What they were is, it was Zoom calls where I was the subject matter expert, if you want to call it that, but people were asking me questions, what about this, what about that? And I would give them at least a bit of an answer, or I would tell them I just didn't know, either way, and we're certainly able to do that. But if you're interested in a live stream and a question and answer kind of thing there, please let us know on that as well, because we certainly have the technology today to be able to do that, where in the COVID days, it was there, but it wasn't as good as it is today. It's much easier to do today. Let's just leave it at that. But again, if at least in our opinion, if we're super busy, it's probably not going to happen. But if we've got some time, we can put together a live stream. Again, it's going to take a little bit of planning. It's not a big deal. We know how to do it. We know when to do it. We know what to do it. We just want to know if there's somebody out there that wants it.
And I'll add here, if we want to do that, then, we can talk about, the handyman business. We can talk about startups. We can talk about all that kind of subject too.
Yeah, the business side, we can, again, thank you, John, for bringing that up. That's actually a great point. There's two sides to this that we can do. One is the homeowner side, right? So if you're a homeowner and you have questions and answers about, when should I do this? What should I do this? How should I do that? Whatever all of those things are. Or if you're a handyman himself and you want to have a live stream with a couple of guys, and granted, we don't know everything about the handyman business, but we've done it a long time and we know a bit about it. And both John and I have run successful businesses of other businesses in the past. So if you have those kinds of business type questions too, we can do a live stream just on the handyman business side of it as well. So there's a whole huge amount of ideas that we can do there. It's just, is it worth it for you? Is it something you're interested in? And again, send us emails, questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. We're sorry we're on email, that it's all email focused, but it's just easier for us to process emails, I think is what it is. And also it writes it down so we don't forget it.
Yeah.
What else do we have, John? What's that?
Well, we've got,
you're number
I think
one,
one
Johnny.
of the things that we'd like to do is to produce, more polls. so we can interact with you guys, more frequently and accurately. We do get emails from you, and thank you very much. Don't hesitate to send us emails. We're always interested to hear what you have to say. And thank you for leaving all the 5-star reviews and things on on our podcast. That's awesome, guys. Thank you very much. And keep that up. That means a lot. But we do have a lot of folks on our Facebook group. And we'd like to take advantage of that and put some polls out there and just kind of get your feedback on this as well. So, Larry, that's what I've got.
I think that's it, John. I think that's it. Even ask us I want to ask a question, John. The question is, the spaceship has landed. Do we look at it or do we take it apart? Do you even like that? Because that's just Johnny's and mine. You
broached that subject as we just stopped talking about polls. Okay. All right, Larry. That's wonderful.
It is what it is. All right, folks. Questions at handymanprosradioshow.com. Send us an email with anything that you got. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast and or our YouTube channel. It helps get the word out, all that good groovy stuff. Johnny, I'm leaving. You always have the last word, John.
I got the last word. Guys and girls, have a great week. And we're looking forward to a great year in 2024. And we will see you next time on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.